Congratulations on the film, guys. I really enjoyed it, and it's a really emotional watch as well. Sheldon, I think you were originally approached just to play Sam, but then something else happened, which has actually found its way into the film. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so funnily enough, when Matt reached out to me to play in this film, I had little to no experience being on camera. And Matt had never seen me act before, but he was like, "You'd be perfect for this." And so when a few months after our conversation of January 2018, coming home from a friend's birthday party, I was shot in a drive-by shooting. And that completely, upended and changed my life at the moment. And wasn't sure if I was going to be able to perform again. Little did I know 3 months later, I was going to be performing and writing. And it was important at the time for me to have some sort of catharsis and ability to do something that I had been removed from a long time and wasn't sure I was going to be able to do again, which is perform. And when I finally decided that I wanted to come on to be Sam, Matt was very vocal that, I can bring my experience into this film, what I was going through. And in doing so, that added so much depth to my character and what he was experiencing. And, we were going over drafts and I was like, I have to write this, I have to write my experience. And so I wrote, I first started off with the monologue that you see in the park. And I wrote that and I sent it to Matt, and Matt was like, great, let's use it. And starting there, it was figuring out, how do I make Sam a real person? And as we were going through the filming process, I was starting to see Sam become closer and closer to me. And that is a scary experience. As well, by the end of it, a cathartic experience because, and by the end, not meaning the end of the rap date, but also like wherever this film ends, just being able to look back on it and have people resonate with it, have people see themselves in it, have people see this person as a real person is great because I'm a real person. But it's also a beautiful experience because I know I was truthful to myself. And I honored and cherished all the things that I was going through to make this film.
Matt, at the beginning of the film, we're told that this is based on true events. So clearly some of your own are in there as well. I wondered how much it asks of you as an artist to put such deeply personal experiences into the public domain. And did you have any sort of reservations at the start about doing that?
Great question. I never wanted to tell anybody. I never wanted to tell anybody what I had gone through. It was 13 years before I told a soul. So once it was out, it was already out. You know what I mean? I already felt naked. And the more people I told, sometimes actually the worse I would feel. Like it's never, people don't really know how to handle it when you tell them that you were molested. It's like they look at you like they were just molested. But the people who I told, who I could tell right away that what I was saying deeply affected them. I could tell they had gone through something similar, and for whatever reason in 2018, I just couldn't get out of bed. And I remember writing down the first sentence and then the second sentence and the third sentence. And after a month, maybe 6 weeks, I had this first draft, and it just came out of me. I really didn't have much say in the matter. And then it was kind of, it just snowballed. I reached out to my friend Kieran, who had been through something similar, who ends up co-directing the film with me, and he said, well, you have to act in this. And then I guess around that same time I had reached out to Sheldon, and so one thing happened after the other, and then it was just a moment where it was like, oh, it's too late, now it's happening. But
it almost sounds like it was the right time for you to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to say that I never had any closure with my abuser. And the Jerry Sandusky trial, I don't know if it was big in the UK, but it was everywhere for a very, very long time. It was this high school coach, this college coach, high school, right? Now I'm blanking on the high school coach. And he had abused like 100 boys. And that trial lasted for years and years and years. And I remember at the same time reading about how cicadas, only the male cicadas cry out at night. And when Jerry Sandusky was finally convicted on that summer night, you could hear cicadas up and down the East Coast.
So that's where the title came from. I was wondering about that.
So at the end, when he's talking to his mother, and his mother is telling him about these little creatures that have been around for, since the beginning of time, I pictured that he is surrounded by all of those boys who are finally free and cheering him on.
Now, the film came out in 2020, so it's taken its time a little bit, but it means that it's been shown at a number of festivals. And I wondered if either, if not both of you, have actually seen it with a live audience and how they responded. Have you been able to do that, Sheldon?
Yeah, I mean, we got a chance to have a New York and LA premiere here. And I couldn't make the New York premiere, but I came to the LA premiere. And not only were we watching it with an audience, but this is the first time I'm sharing this with my friends. My partner was there with me watching this. So it was a really just crazy experience of being able to share something that was very, very a labor of love, but also a labor of just a labor, a lot of emotional labor, and just for people to see me in such a intimate way, and also in a very, this is the first time some of my friends were seeing me naked, so I was like, having to just expose myself, and I watched it with my family, which is also, it's just a very surreal experience. It was incredible.
It's also the sort of story that, particularly if there's a sort of Q&A session afterwards, where audiences would want to sort of share their experiences, where they find some common ground. Did you have anything like that, Matt?
Oh yeah, a lot of it. And it is why this whole experience has been worth it. Even one person to come up, and Sheldon and I both got DMs on Instagram when it came out virtually, but it's totally different when you're looking at a human being and they're looking you in the eye, and they give you a hug and you share a beer afterwards. It's it's a really wild experience, and part of the reason why it's so devastating that we can't go to the UK and Ireland, and it's just one day, but
yeah, hopefully you will. In the meantime, hopefully plenty of people will get to see the film, because it's certainly worth seeing. So thank you very much for it, and good luck at the Spirit Awards as well, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you.